The 2025 Common App just opened, and there are some changes that you are going to want to know about before you begin. I'm going to walk you through the entire application step by step so that you understand the changes and you can submit with confidence. Let's do this. So here is the Common App, which is just at commonapp.org. And if you've seen it before, which you probably haven't because it really is exclusive to Rising Seniors. It does have a new user interface though. So if you have an older sibling, it probably will look different to your parents. Couple big changes is just this interface looks different. The tab My Common Application used to be called the Common App section. My Common Application, I'm going to walk you through this. It's where you put all of kind of your basic information. And then another kind of big change that I think is worth talking about is if you go into this writing section, the additional information section here has changed. So there are two questions. One, this used to be what people call the COVID question. It is now the challenges and circumstances question. So it just says, have you had any challenges that involve any of these things, and would you like to share about them? You can answer yes or no there. And then the other question is, would you like to share any additional details or qualifications, which is a good keyword, not reflected in the rest of your application. This one, if you change it here, this one is a maximum, you can see on the bottom here, of 250 words. This additional information is a maximum of 300 words, and that is down from 650 words in previous years. So that's kind of one of the bigger changes. I also just want to walk you through sort of the rest of the My Common App tab, which is going to be on the left. So here's your dashboard, okay? This is going to indicate your progress as you work your way through these My Common App sections. And then there's also My Colleges, and the other one I'm going to talk about a bit is College Search. So in My Common App, you have Profile, which again gives you, so it's interesting in Common App because it always looks like it's going to be quicker than it really is. You are now entering the spot where you're going to have to enter your details, your address, things like that in Profile. So it just walks you through step by step. So if you click through it, you get to enter all of your information here, and you can go through and enter. I don't really think there's any surprises for this. Okay, next up is the family section, which gives us this information. So if you'll want to enter your address, you're going to want to enter if you have, what the parent's marital status is, who do you reside with, do you have any kids? Parent one, it's probably important to remember who parent one is because it's going to come back later. So I would just say go with, just maybe make a little note. If parent one is your mother, put mom just on a note, parent one, because it'll come back later. One thing you are going to need to know for your parents is where they attended school. Okay, so just be ready to ask them how many degrees they have from their schools, what kind of degrees. So that's information that you need to know kind of before you start for both of your parents, if you have two parents. And then also you're going to be asked questions about your siblings as well, if you have siblings. Okay, so that's family. And I guess my biggest tip there again is to gather information about their education ahead of time. And then the education section is asking about your education. So where are you going to high school? Will you graduate from there? And then a lot of students have a question about this one. If you are just graduating in the normal kind of standard 4 years, you will indicate that you do not have a change in progression. If you have attended other high schools, indicate it there. If you've gotten credit from a college or university, so this includes College Credit Plus, enter the number of colleges here. You'll need to know your approximate size of your graduating class. That is something you can ask your guidance office at your high school. And you'll also need to ask them if they report class rank. A lot of schools do, but a lot of schools don't, okay? You'll also need to know what your GPA scale is. Sometimes it's a 4, sometimes it's a 5, sometimes if you live in certain states, it's 100. Then you're going to want to enter, it'll ask you to enter your current or most recent year courses. These are your senior year courses. So if you haven't started school yet, that's fine. Wait till you get your schedule. I would say the first day you get your high school schedule for senior year, enter this in. So you're going to want to say what kind of classes you are. If you are on semesters, you would click semesters and then continue. It says, how many courses would you like to report? You'll have to count those ahead of time. So let's say I'm taking 5 classes, I'm on semesters, and then I'll indicate what those classes are. Okay? Pro tip on this would be to enter them in the order that you think they are, like decreasing difficulty. So notice I put my AP Calculus AB class first because I think that might be the hardest. Next up is honors. I would suggest thinking about this ahead of time before you fill this in. These are going to be academic achievements beginning in 9th grade. This is a really good place if you are a member of National Honor Society to put that. Also, honor roll is pretty common that people put here, and other honors related to academics. If you forget the things that you've done throughout high school, your parents might be a really good place to ask to see if they can think of any honors that you've received. Community-based organizations, how many of those have provided you with free assistance in your application process? Another bonus tip, if there is a red asterisk, you have to answer the question. If there is not a red asterisk, you do not. It is totally optional. Keep that in mind because a lot of times students will fill stuff out and they're like, what do I put here? I'm like, it's optional because there's no red asterisk. Future plans, you actually do have to answer this. When are you planning on starting college and what is your career interest? And how much college do you intend to get, right? How long will you be in college as you're thinking right now? So for if you are planning on just going for the normal undergraduate degree, that would be called a bachelor's. Okay, moving on to testing. This one's a little bit trickier because students often have questions about this. Please, if you have questions, put them in below in the video. But this is asking if you are planning on reporting scores for any of these. So ACT, SAT, AP scores, IB scores, and those other ones. And then you'll need to say which ones you plan to report. So let's say I've taken the SAT and I've taken a couple of AP tests, or I plan to this year. Then I would click those. And then in the next section, it's asking me how many scores I'm going to be reporting. So it says how many past scores do I have an essay score, how many future SATs, and then it's going to ask me what my actual scores were. So you'll need to have that information handy. So it's going to say SAT, if you have an ACT score, it's going to ask for each individual section, and then AP as well. It's okay to put your scores in here, even if you're not planning on submitting your scores to all of your colleges. You just have to be really careful to be sure you're indicating it for each college if you are submitting test scores or not. So I would double check that, absolutely. Next up is activities. I would strongly suggest writing these descriptions on a different document, typing them in somewhere else, and then just copying and pasting them here because the descriptions for activities are super important. So keep those in mind. But I would at least look at the kinds of activities that you can be indicating that are extracurricular. There's tons of them on the drop down. What was your position? What's the name of the organization? And then what did you do in that activity? So again, I would definitely plan this out elsewhere to put it back in because this one's really important. And then, do you have any This one's, a lot of people don't really know about this, but this says, do you have any of these responsibilities in your life? So if you are the kind of person who has to work for somebody in your family, take care of somebody, that is what you would fill out. And these are required. So if you don't have any of these responsibilities, that's okay. You just click none of these. Writing section, we've already touched on additional information. The personal essay is your big 650 word essay that is required of most colleges. These are the prompts. So after you write your essay, click on the prompt, and then you can cut and paste your essay, copy paste your essay in this spot. It is a maximum of 650 words. And then your colleges, some colleges might require courses and grades, so you can take a look at that. My sample colleges that I've put in there do have courses and grades, and that means I will need to enter those in. So then you have to have a copy of your transcript to enter those courses and grades in. This says that I haven't put in my high school yet, but once I do that, it'll give me like the option to start entering my 9th grade classes, followed by my 10th grade classes, etc. So as long as you have your transcript, it should be pretty straightforward entering those. Okay, next up, I want to just mention briefly about the college list. So the way you add colleges is you go to this search button and then you enter the name of a college. So let's say I want to apply to Alabama. I'm going to just look up Alabama. This is the one in Tuscaloosa, and I'm going to add it. That's all you do. Pro tip, because a lot of people don't know how to do this. Let's say I'm in my college list and I'm like, you know what? I've changed my mind. I'm not going to apply to Alabama. There's no easy way to edit it in here to remove it. So you really need to go back to the college search, type the name of the college, and then click remove. So that is a nice, easy way to remove a college. And then I also wanted to mention in the colleges, I'm going to show you, which one was I going to show you guys specifically? Lehigh. This is what a typical college dropdown will be with extra information. And I wanted to show you this is kind of another pro tip. Sometimes colleges will have writing requirements. So Lehigh this one is an asterisk, right? This is a required supplemental essay. And this one is too, which I actually really like this. What's something great happening in your life right now? So they have 2 required essays. Here's kind of something that will happen during you filling out the Common App on some colleges. So notice in academics, it says preferred academic major second choice, but what I'm noticing is there's no first choice in here. So sometimes if you don't go in order, if you don't answer questions in order, you're going to miss some stuff. So I'm just going to quickly run through this and say, I'm going to enter in all the requirements, and I'll show you what pops up. Okay, so then when I go to academics now, check out what happens. Intended college or program. So just make sure you go in order. And then here's what happens when I click on my intended college. Oh, I don't have to enter a second choice major. Look, I get another essay. So sometimes you will get hidden essays. So try to enter all of your college information as soon as you can, just so you know if extra essays might pop up. And then finally, at the end, I think it's just a really good idea to get a second set of eyes on this. So after you are ready to submit, you can invite a parent or a teacher or somebody that you trust to go through your entire application and make sure everything is correct. I can't submit yet because I haven't filled anything out, but I haven't filled everything out. But this is where you would review and submit. So double check everything. Don't rush. Certainly don't wait until the last minute to do this. Do this, whenever you have time, go in here and start filling it out. And I think those tips will make it easier for you to fill out the 2025 Common App. So I would love for you to subscribe to my channel so you can watch any of my upcoming videos on college admissions and test prep. Thanks.